Hi everyone, and welcome back again to HSC Standard Math Hacks, where we share with you some useful tips and tricks to pass this exam. In today's video, I'll be going through with you the topic of dividends. This is under the investment section of Study Ninja website, and this section I have broken it down into simple interest, compound interest, and shares. And what we'll be talking about is these questions. These questions recently appeared in 2020 and 2019 exam. And generally they have been quite easy, and I'll also be talking about what are the modifications that can be made to make these questions a bit trickier as well. To start off, I would recommend checking out this section on Study Ninja website, investment topic. And under the investment topic, if you go to shares, that's where some of the basic things that you would need to know for this topic. And it's pretty much this one formula that you need to know. Dividend yield is dividend per share divided by market price of each share. And we'll see this in action just now. So let's go back to our slides. Yep. Okay, let's look at 2013 question 28D. So this is the easiest of all the questions that you're seeing in this topic. So what you're given is that Adele has 2,000 shares and the share price is $1.50 per share, and there is a dividend of $0.3 per share. Firstly, what is the current value of shares? So you have 2,000 shares, you're told each share is $1.50, so what's the total value? So you just multiply the two, which is $3,000. Pretty straightforward, basic stuff. Second part is the calculate the dividend yield. Again, a straightforward application of this formula. Dividend yield is dividend divided by market price of share. So yield would be per share you have a dividend of 0.3, your market price is 1.5, you multiply it by 100 and you'll get your answer. Very straightforward application of the formula. So that's good. Then moving on, 2017 question 26E. This one is a bit trickier. It's not specifically asking you about dividend yield, but it's related to dividend and shares, so that's why I put in the same category. And this is just straightforward stuff. It's just you need to do a little bit of thinking when you are solving these kind of questions. Sam purchased 500 shares at $3.2. Brokerage fees is given. You're told what is the dividend paid. Then he sold the share immediately. This is all good. This is all the information given, but I think to start off, you need to know what exactly the question wants, and then you can figure out what to do with the information. The question is specifically asking you what is the total profit for Sam. So now I know what to do with this information, right? Then I can process it in a correct way if I know what the question wants. Because question wants this, then I will separate information. What is Sam paid out from the pocket and what is he received? And then the difference between the two would be the profit. So let's list that down. So what did Sam pay? Sam paid, he bought 500 shares at $3.2 each, right? So he paid 500 times 3.2. So that's the total value of these shares, right? What else did Sam pay? He paid a brokerage fee of the purchase price, which is 1.5%. So this is he paid to buy those shares. On top of that, on top of this number, he paid 1.5% as brokerage fee. So that's something more he paid. Then what did he receive? What did he receive? So he received dividend, 26 cents per share. So there are 500 shares. So he received 0.26 multiplied by 500. What else did he receive? He sold the shares at $4.8 each. So he received 4.8 for every share multiplied by 500. Now you calculate these values, and from this you subtract this, then you will get the total profit what the question is asking. So the question is very straightforward. It's just a little bit of multiplication, addition, subtraction, and you'll get to your answer. Then 2019 question 21. This question is very similar to this one in that it's again the application of dividend yield formula. Just they modified it a little bit. In this one, all the information was readily given to you and you just needed to plug it into the formula. Whereas here, you're told the market value of share is $8.75 per share. You're told that the total dividend for this share is $1,068, and then you need to calculate the yield. Now, going back to the formula, you know that you need to know dividend per share divided by market price per share. So we need to work out what is the dividend per share. This is the total dividend that's given to us. So a little bit of work that we need to do is calculate dividend per share, which would be 1068.2 total dividend divided by total number of shares. So that would be your dividend per share. Now, whatever this value is, all you need to do is now simply apply that formula. So dividend per share, which is this value, you divide it by the share value, 8.75 multiplied by 100, and you will get your answer. So pretty straightforward stuff. 2020 question 29. This is where things got a little bit tricky, but again, you need, as long as your basics are right, this is not as hard as it appears, and I'll show you. First, again, read the question and then understand what exactly the question is asking, and then we'll process that information. It specifically is asking basically the number of shares, XYZ shares that Jana has, right? So then what you're given is Jana has, I think in the portfolio, they have two kinds of share, ABC, which is 200 number of shares, dividend yield is given, market price is given. This one we don't know what the total number of share is, but we're given dividend yield, we are given the market price. Now once you see dividend yield, first thing that should come to your mind is the formula for dividend yield. What we'll do with it we'll decide later, but remember, first thing that is the first thing that should come in your mind. Then what you're given is total total annual dividend that's been paid is $149. So from these two, the total dividend is $149. Now to work this out, let's see what we can do with this information. Even if you forget this $149.52, if I start from this, what's the formula for dividend yield? Formula for dividend yield is dividend per share and market price per share, right? Multiplied by 100. So here we are given that this is 6%. So we know that dividend yield is 6%, and we don't know what is the dividend per share. So this we don't know. We are given what is the price per share, 5.5, right? Multiplied by 100. Then now we can calculate this, which would be equal to, this dividend per share would be $0.33 per share. So that's much they receive for every share. So if you know this, and you know there are 200 shares for ABC company, then we can work out what is the total dividend for ABC. So you multiply this by 200 shares, and you get that total dividend they receive from company ABC is $66. So out of this 149 that they have received, $66 is from company ABC. Then what is the dividend they receive from company XYZ? So the dividend they received from XYZ would be 149.52 minus $66, which would be $83.52. Okay, great. We know what the total dividend is received here, but our question is, what is the number of shares? Now, once we know the total dividend, we can again work out what is the dividend per share, exactly using the same way we did here to calculate the dividend per share. Exactly. So if you plug, in this case, you're going to plug 4% here and $6 here. So the dividend per share here would be, in this case, would work out to be, I've done this calculation beforehand, that would be $0.24, right? So now you know dividend per share is this. You know that the total dividend was this much. So what you can then do is, so dividend per share, dividend divided by share basically. Dividend divided by share is equal to 0.24. That's what you're told. You know the total dividend is 83.52. What you need to calculate is total number of shares. So then you solve this and you get the total number of shares, which would be 348, and that would be this value. So this question was, I think out of all these questions, this was the trickiest of questions, even though you don't have anything new to work out. It's just the application, layer after layer application, that you need to work out was tricky. So make sure you are pretty good with this one. Now, when it comes to the variation, the way these can be varied is the different parts of the formula that can be asked. So here you have got, in this case, the question was asked, given you the market value of share and the total dividend that's been paid. But in this case, they could have given you dividend yield, and they would have asked you to calculate the total dividend instead of giving you the total dividend. So different parts of the formula can be asked. That is one easy way of modifying this. But be prepared for something even more complicated. So a combination of this question plus this question. So in this case, they only left you with asking you to calculate this number of shares. They could combine these two questions and ask you to work out what is the eventual profit. Something like, here a line would come like Jana then sold these shares for ABC share for, I don't know, $7 per share, and XYZ for $7.5 per share, and there was a brokerage at the time of selling of 1% of the selling price. Now tell us what is the profit and loss of this transaction. So it can get really tricky. Be sure you know how to solve each of these components very well, so that if a tricky question comes as a combined question, you know how to do it. So that's all I have for this part. If you have any questions, please put down in comments. Please have a look at these mock exams where I have put down different tricky questions that can come into this exam. So there are 20 mock exams on my site, and please also join HSC Standard Math Facebook group.